I'm Brad Madsen, and this is my feminist critique and class reflection.
The other one.
Just like everyone else, I divided my areas of feminism into waves. The first wave was active mainly during the 19th century and took place in the United States and the United Kingdom. They focused on social and political differences between the genders, and they fought for suffrage. The Iron Jawed Angels were a perfect example of feminists during this era. The second wave was alive during the 1960s. The focus was mainly on women's employment, sexual harassment, gender imbalances and biases instead of suffrage, and as well as political imbalances. This is a picture of second wave women feminists protesting for women's liberation. The third wave of feminism started in the late 1980s or the early 1990s, and the major issues during this wave were the representation of all women's groups, including lesbians and transgender women, as well as low-income families and different ethnic groups. They worked to incorporate women of diverse backgrounds, and they often criticized the second wave for not including a lot of different groups of women. The second wave mainly focused on middle-class white women. My definition of feminism was loosely based on one of my sources. They hit the nail on the head pretty much. I couldn't think of a better way really to describe it. The action taken by people to fight for more equality between not only genders, but all people and the equal representation of men and women in all respects, including socially, politically, and economically. I think this definition incorporates the definitions of all the waves of feminism the best. Should I consider myself a feminist or a pro-feminist? I would consider myself a pro-feminist simply because I'm not taking any action to participate in feminist activities like my definition says. My feminist critique was on golf. I'm a greenskeeper at a golf course in my hometown, and I have a lot of experience behind the scenes, like preparing for tournaments and events. And what I've seen is that men's tournaments are often prepared for more than women's tournaments. There might be some implicit bias going on. I don't think the superintendent realizes some of the skill that some of our women players have. And it's true not only in local golf, but as well as professional golf. PGA is covered a lot more heavily than the LPGA, and often, unfortunately, when the LPGA is covered, it's covered like this. It doesn't really have anything to do with golf. It's just another way of viewing women as sex objects. For my course reflection, there are 5 really important themes that I thought stood out most during this course. The first one was diversity. I think it's necessary to obtain a wide and unique perspective on many issues, and I think the only way to do this is to have as many different points of view as possible. And having these points of view, not only from women, but from different ethnic backgrounds, can be extremely helpful. Handling hurtful remarks is one of my favorite themes of this class. It's a useful tool in society. It can be, depending on the way you respond to hurtful remarks, it can be amusing. And it taught me how to kind of remind people of what they're saying and how you can make an impact and help to change the way they think. The third one was gender imbalances. The weekly journals that we did kind of forced me to recognize and further evaluate gender imbalances that I see on a daily basis that I didn't maybe recognize before. And it's kind of an eye-opener for me, and I just really appreciated that part of the course. Volunteer service, mainly because it's a different way of learning than this classroom, everyday classroom lecture. I think it's important to get different kinds of perspectives, and going out and getting yourself into new situations definitely helps with that. The last important theme that I picked was our guest speakers. They really gave us some insight into what happens in the real world at the workplace, and they provided some valuable experiences that we can all learn from. And these are my sources.